This review is on the Sideshow Collectibles 6-scale Halloween Michael Myers action figure. This figure stands at 12 inches tall, is well articulated, and has a wide range of accessories to make this the ultimate Michael Myers display piece for your collection. Now, as Michael continues to rotate here, we can take a good look at the figure in its entirety, and I think Sideshow really nailed in capturing the likeness of the Boogeyman. Now we will get straight into the head sculpt here of Michael Myers. Now this is a main reason why people might not consider picking this up, but I think in person this head sculpt looks really great. One problem, I just don't like the hairline. It looks receding and the eyes look kind of strange, but overall I still think this is a really neat mask. The hair and the sculpt looks great. They have the ripped sideburns on each side of the mask, which resembles the mask seen in Halloween 1978, the original, and I think the side profile looks really good on this figure. And to be honest, this mask kind of looks like the Dead by Daylight Michael Myers. And that's the first and last time I will ever mention that game on this channel. Moving along down the figure, we can see Michael's neck and undershirt, black undershirt, which he wore in the 78 film. And I think this collar is popped up pretty nice. And I think Sideshow really nailed this pair of coveralls. We can see he has the double pockets and his sleeves go all the way down to his hands and pretty much covering his hands. And the back of the suit is actually pretty dirty. It's a little hard to pick up on camera, but it has a little bit of grime and dirt on it, and I think Sideshow really nailed this figure. Now, if some of you sickos really wanted to undress Michael Myers here, he does have this snapback coverall, and we can take a better look at the undershirt that Michael is wearing. And for the last bit of detail, we will take a look at his boots. He does have the green on the sides, which I think is a nice touch of accurateness to the design of Michael here. And he has pretty dirty boots on the end of it, and I think it looks great. Now, moving on to the articulation, Michael here has a ball joint at the head, and this thing is very good. He could look very far down and very far up, almost to the point where you could pretty much take the whole head sculpt off and move side to side. The arms can go out about this far. It's very far, and if you ever were not satisfied until you saw a T-posing Michael Myers figure, well, you're welcome. Michael here has a double bend in both arms, which is a must for a Michael Myers figure. And the hand and wrist articulation is very well and dandy, and the wrist peg is very easy to remove, and you can get a better look at how the articulation works. The midsection has a very good articulation point, which allows for Michael to really get into those good positions you want him to be in. And of course, the legs can kick up about that far. They can kick really far up. Michael's doing some pretty hefty workout sit-ups, and the legs can spread about that far. There is a bend in both knees, and Michael's boots can only really go left or right and rotate 360 degrees. It doesn't necessarily have a ball joint, but that's okay. Now, in my opinion, I believe that this is probably my favorite Michael Myers action figure to pose. There's just so much articulation to work with. And of course, the accessories, which I'll talk about very soon, make this probably one of my most exciting figures to mess around with and just put him in all these kind of wacko poses. But of course, when I display him, he'll be in a more serious pose, of course. And now, moving along to the accessories, Michael here comes packaged with these default fist-closed hands. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of these, but I'm glad that Sideshow packaged them in anyway, but the first pair of alternate hands are these like strangly gonna grab at your hands. These hands are more grabby, but they are a little bit more relaxed. And finally, he comes with these two hands that are supposed to wield objects, which we will get into right now. His iconic butcher knife is, of course, packaged here. There's two different versions, one with a clean blade and one that has been used and probably made a hot dog or something and got a little bit of ketchup on it. I'm not really too sure what that is, but you can see here displayed with the bloodied up knife and of course the clean knife, and I think it looks pretty good. And the left hand can wield this phone, the phone that he used on Linda, of course, and he can put it up to his ear, which is why I think the double bend is pretty good for Michael figures. Now this phone is only the receiver part of the phone and the cord. It doesn't come with the actual like phone dial-up base, but I think that's completely fine. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite accessories. I love recreating that scene where Michael is listening to Laurie talking through the phone and him just breathing through the phone. But it looks really good. It looks really good. Now, one of the accessories that Sideshow has given us, which is quite a lot actually, is the jack-o'-lantern from the opening credits of the 78 film. And in the middle here, it will split open with two magnets on each side to keep it in place. And as you can see in there, it has that little tea light. There is a switch, and when you flick it on, the light will turn on and have an orange glow illuminating the jack-o'-lantern. And doesn't that just look absolutely incredible? Now, I would love to keep Michael displayed with a jack-o'-lantern like this, but the jack-o'-lantern is pretty heavy, and his arms will get very loose and probably drop it, so I wouldn't recommend doing this for very long. Now, what would a Michael Myers figure be without his beloved sister, Judith Myers, and her tombstone that he so gracefully stole from the cemetery and used to prop it up right behind Annie's corpse, which is just so nice of him. But I think this tombstone looks pretty good and very well detailed. Now, I'm sure you've seen this in the 360 rotations of the figure. This is a hexagonal display stand that the figure comes with, and it's very nice that it would come with this, and it's very sturdy, and it holds up the figure really well. The final accessory that Sideshow includes is the ghost sheet costume that Michael uses, as well as Bob's glasses, and I will show you how to equip it. First, you want to grab the head and twist it off like that. You can see the ball joint right there in the neck. Next thing you want to do is find the head sculpt inside the ghost costume and just go ahead and plop that right into place and snap it into the joint. Now, once you plop it into the neck joint, just go ahead and fix the sheet and put the glasses back on if it falls off. And here is the Bob's ghost sheet costume that Michael uses in the film to fool Linda. And I really like it. It looks great. It drapes over the figure naturally. And Bob's glasses pretty much holds the sheet in place with a little peg. And there's a hole for the peg to go into, like right at the bridge of the nose. And honestly, you just kind of want to fix the eye holes to line up with the glasses. And overall, I think it looks great. And honestly, I prefer this over the Trick or Treat Studios ghost sheet costume. And that is the Sideshow Collectibles Halloween 1978 Michael Myers 6-scale action figure. And the last 6-scale figure of Michael Myers that I own in my collection for me to review. I know there's one more or two more out there besides the unreleased stuff like the Halloween 3 Trick or Treaters or the Dr. Loomis soon to come. But I will get to those when I'm able to get to those, obviously. But tell me what you enjoyed, and see you guys later.